Greetings to all and welcome to our webinar today. I'm with Loggle's product manager Irem, and we will be talking about how to realize a centralized application portfolio, and we will show you a presentation with Loggle's modules to exemplify the use cases in application portfolio management. Hello Irem, how are you today?
Hi Ünal, I'm great. I'm very excited to be here and talk about the APM module of Loggle.
It's always nice to hear that, and we shall begin, I guess. So let's start by providing you with some context about MDP Group. MDP Group is a tech consultancy. MDP Group is a tech consultancy firm specialized in SAP, but also a research and development center with a lot of digital products. We were founded in 2013, and today we are partners with SAP, Checkpoint, Oracle, and Gartner. We are also deemed worthy of Great Place to Work certification. MDP Group has 3 offices, Germany, Switzerland, and Turkey, along with 10 trademarks, in which Loggle is one of them. We are consisted of 4 nations, and we serve to more than 20 countries and completed more than 1,000 projects with our experienced team. Our agenda today is consisted of introduction to application portfolio management, along with discussing legacy and modern techniques and problems during transformation, presenting you use cases and scenarios for different size enterprises. After that, Irem will take over, and she will be talking about what does Loggle provide with the application portfolio management module, and we will conclude with regulations with which Loggle is in accord. So, for the beginning, my cell phone quite a lot looks like this: YouTube Premium, Spotify, Netflix, Movie, HubSpot, and many more similar apps. But one thing is certainly common: these software are actually all SaaS technology. Yes, that's SaaS, software as a service, that is almost used by all the enterprises thanks to digital transformation today. But for my cell phone, it's more personal, of course. For these apps, I pay a monthly or annual subscription fee. But of course, I don't always use every one of them. I download new ones, and if I like, I continue with them. However, because I have other things to do in my life, and as my cell phone is a bit crowded application-wise, I forget or postpone canceling my subscriptions for such apps. Plus, it's always possible to also forget deleting these apps from my cell phone. So my mobile also gets slower and loses performance. Thus, I both end up with extra costs that I don't really like and then inefficiently running cell phone. So I asked myself, if this is something I suffer from as a single individual, I wonder how the enterprises are doing. A tech consulting firm, Symantec, provides the answer. They say enterprises have up to 40 times more software than they think they do. So, in such a bloated inventory, it's quite important to monitor the applications. Which one works efficiently, how many financial resources the enterprises are allocating, which apps have technical problems or has the potential to have technical problems. The list goes on and on. An enterprise should be able to monitor all these applications for their infos and updates in their inventory. They should be doing this because enterprises plan their goals and evaluate their processes according to how their applications are realizing the business. So it's critical to be in control of the IT landscape in a business. After all, the decision makers need data about which applications are more profitable and important for business. That's why the concept of application inventory management came into our lives. And let's proceed to further understand how APM approaches of enterprises have evolved over time and came into today. First of all, a classic old-timer. recording applications on physical documents. This is the textbook example of inefficiency, I guess. But of course, today this method isn't preferred, maybe except for really small coffee shops and artisans. Secondly, Excel spreadsheets, a very common case today. After all, Excel is an application that ticks almost all the boxes in business. It kind of does it all. It's widely used for many different business processes and really a useful tool. Yet, if employed for APM goals, it's impossible to scale Excel along with the ever-growing business. Keeping spreadsheets up to date is a very effortful task, and in time, it's technically unfeasible because of the bloated structure. So, monitoring applications on Excel is the least efficient way of the digital solutions. And last but not least, adapting an application designed for another task into APM. We mostly see that project management solutions are tried to be used for APM processes. Even though it aims for a digitalized command center, it's inefficient and can even bear more critical problems in the future than it would be in their absence. Using a project management tool can only save the day and nothing more. Today, it's imperative that enterprises should have a digitalized ad hoc tool for their application portfolio management. And of course, there are such software. They exist like Loggle, but it's not always easy to migrate all the processes from a legacy tool to a modern solution. There might be some problems. Such problems might be as follows. Firstly, reluctancy towards digital transformation. Though it's getting reduced day by day, some enterprises still tend to stick to the legacy methods, like Excel spreadsheets, like we covered most popularly. These companies prefer allocating specific people to conduct the management. Yet, this is inefficient use of both time and resources. It is so mostly because along with the digital transformation and with the digital solution that comes with this transformation, workload of employees in charge of application portfolio will simply get facilitated and they will be able to realize tasks with more added value. Secondly, enterprises might get scared by the workload that comes with migrating the bloated and decentralized structure into a modern platform. This is relatively in parallel with the first clause, yes, but I think cloud migration might be a proper use case in order to tackle this problem. We simply should remember how cloud migration happens. Migrating a well-rooted legacy infrastructure into cloud may be hard in some cases, but today we all understood its medium and long-term benefits. Migrating legacy APM methods into modern solutions is a quite similar case, in fact. Plus, APM migration is easier and faster than cloud migration because, for example, Loggle can export and import enterprises' Excel spreadsheets and can go live around 2 working days. Third problematic item is training the employee. A team used to legacy techniques may not always feel prone to step up into a digital solution. Yet, there are 2 answers to such difference. First, choosing modern solutions with intuitive screens, easy to understand, easy to use. We believe Loggle has such user experience, as we will show you our screens today. And the second way to tackle this problem is to request comprehensive and explanatory documents, and of course spatial training, if necessary, from the provider. All in all, modern problems require modern solutions, and Loggle can provide you with these. Now, I would like to talk about the use cases that centers around APM. First of all, application rationalization. This is an evaluative process that analyzes which applications are working efficiently for the business. Upon understanding this, it's easier to identify which applications should be eliminated or made investments in. Loggle has a way to process this and provide users with insightful data that we will lean on in the second half of the webinar. Second of all, continuous optimization. Enterprises evaluate their applications either in the beginning or at the end of the specific seasons, mostly annually or biannually. But this is not always enough. After all, these applications run, move, and change all through the year. Monitoring all these software through the whole year and identifying the problems the day they arise will result in continuous optimization and ease up a lot of business processes through the year. The third clause could be business strategy alignment. Before deciding on a new strategy for business, enterprises need certain data sets to ground their set of thinking. If applications are monitored by APM solutions, enterprises have insightful data into their business processes. Loggle's reporting system, for example, aims to provide the user with such reports and data sets to facilitate the critical periods of decision makers. Categorizing needs of different size enterprises into three is possible when it comes to application portfolio management. For example, startups aim to ensure rapid growth in short time spans, and they have the potential to do so. We have seen it. To strengthen their growth efforts during their runs, they might need a lot of software applications all answering to specific needs. So they procure such software. But in time, they end up with a bloated inventory, and this can affect their agile business speed. One of the most important things for a startup, honestly. Thus, monitoring the applications from the absolute starting point of the growth would be beneficial for their business processes and budgeting in the long run. As for small and medium-sized enterprises, assessing if the goals are reached play an important role for the business. With an APM tool, understanding which applications helped most to reach to their goals becomes possible. As for the big-sized enterprises, they have their big-sized decisions. These corporates could get help from APM solutions to study how hard it will be to implement new corporate decisions into the little veins of business. A merger or adding a new line of business to a holding is critical decisions with big risks for these corporates. That being the case, evaluating the already in use applications will ensure an understanding of the IT inventory of that enterprise. If this inventory can carry out the workload that will come along with their fresh corporate big-sized decisions. All in all, application portfolio management aims to create a single source of truth that can be reviewed real-time. Instead of dispersed management that is hard to keep track, as lack of information and documents, and miscalculating the expenses, Loggle provides a centralized approach with high traceability, real-time and real information, and detailed recording of costs. That's all for my part today. Now, Loggle's product manager, Iran, will show us how Loggle interprets these modern requirements and how does Loggle create value for its business partners.
Sorry, my microphone was on mute. Thank you for your precious presentation, Ünal. Now I'd like to talk specifically about how we handle such processes in Loggle and show our screens to exemplify a digital application portfolio management approach. We started developing Loggle by listening to one of our customers in Switzerland. They told us about how hard it is to manage their IT inventory, and we came up with Loggle. They told us that they were using Excel and such a decentralized system was causing problems for monitoring applications. Then we started brainstorming and analyzing the market and rivals. Upon our research, we identified that many enterprises are suffering from a similar lack of IT asset management. So we wanted to provide a solution that will simplify their IT landscape and provide them with complete control over their applications. Another story from our development phase, one of our big-sized companies told us that they were going to purchase an SAP license. As you know, SAP licenses can be quite costly. They tried to decide if they are going to purchase the license by conducting meetings and research for months. Then they decided to approach the SAP, and SAP told them that they own that license. So it's quite clear that monitoring applications and licenses are a must and saves time and effort. And that's why we developed Loggle. One of our main goals with Loggle is that our business partners should be able to identify what is necessary or unnecessary in their application portfolios, along with providing the data to facilitate the decision process on which applications are worth investments. From our experience with Excel using enterprises, monitoring licenses is also a problem. Agreements, related documents, invoices are kept in a decentralized manner, and they need to get in contact with a lot of different employees for a single task. Loggle also provides a single source for documents. All users can log into the system with different authorizations, and they can store necessary documents on Loggle. Apart from that, Loggle does not only create an inventory. This is something that can be done in Excel. On top of this feature, Loggle ensures monitoring, evaluation, planning and strategies, and sustainability of the applications. This way, our business partners get cost reduction and improved efficiency. And plus, there is the security aspect. As you know, employees may conduct shadow IT, that is, procuring new applications without the approval of IT, and shadow IT results in security breaches. In enterprises using Loggle, all the inventory is monitored in a single source of truth, and such security threats are evaded. As understood from its name, everything is logged in Loggle. Info such as who made what changes in the inventory is always reachable through Loggle. Users can also export this information as an Excel sheet. Loggle also categorizes applications by their departments and business capabilities. Technical features, owners, application lifecycle, and cost information are all stored in Loggle. Thus, it's possible to evaluate applications according to different criteria. One of such criteria is Gartner's time model. While we were developing Loggle, we worked closely with Gartner and benefited from their experience and insight. For each step we take, Gartner is a part of it. There is this time model of Gartner, a valuable pivot for IT asset management. We integrated these criteria into Loggle, but what is this? What is a time model? Time model is what enables the end users and the decision makers to understand the real value of an application by analyzing their business fitness, technical fitness, and cost fitness. In Loggle, users give points for such features to the applications. Upon these points, Loggle places the application in space as you can examine in the dashboard. I think dashboard is on the next page. Each application is symbolized by a dot, as you can see in the dashboard, and the size of the dot is determined by its costs. The bigger the cost is, the bigger the dot. But why is this graphic so important, and why do we implement it to Loggle? Thanks to this visualized evaluation, users can examine and analyze all the apps in their inventory by their costs and features. This way, it's easier to decide which applications should be migrated, tolerated, eliminated, and worth investments. This is a mechanism that provides factual reports for decisions regarding applications. We try to implement anything that could be beneficial for the users. Meanwhile, this dashboard is customizable, and the user can select which info they would like to see using the Edit Dashboard feature on the top right. And this is the exemplary visual application lifecycle management. Here you can also see every application in your portfolio. But what's different is that applications are categorized by their life cycles annually. In this screen, answers for questions like which applications was used when an application was migrated can be found. All your decisions regarding applications are gathered and can be monitored on Loggle. Apart from decommissioning and actively using the application, there is also the subject of using data of the application. Sometimes an application isn't used actively, but the data they store is necessary for other applications. Loggle records this too. As shown in the visual, green symbolizes that the application is active, while red indicated that the application is completely abandoned. As for yellow, the application isn't used actively, but its data is still in the system. So the financial allocations for such applications are still going on. And moving on, Loggle provides many visualized reports. Detailed reports on application usage, cost analysis, department budgets can be viewed on Loggle. Especially for audits, it might get hard to identify how many licensed users an enterprise has. So Loggle holds both license information and detects if there are extra and unnecessary licenses so that it's possible to optimize costs. On the other hand, if you have fewer licenses than you should have for an audit, Loggle warns you about it too. We automate this process by developing a discovery agent. With this agent, we collect data from your hardware about the software used on them. Loggle can determine which user has used which application for how long. This way, it's easier to identify which licenses are used less often and might be unnecessary. Then Loggle provides you a warning as this user hasn't used this license enough. You could move the license to another user. Besides, what makes Loggle unique in the market is that Loggle has detailed cost reports and analysis. We will be talking about Loggle's IT cost module in another webinar, but let me provide you with a sneak peek. In other APM tools we analyzed, the costs of the applications are addressed minimally. Yet Loggle can show monthly costs with each expense item. It also shows application run forecasts and the expenses that sum up both the actual and the forecasted running costs. There is also the calendar feature of Loggle shown on the top right corner. With the calendar, the start and end dates of your licenses can be recorded. A specific time before the end dates for your licenses, Loggle sends a notification that can also be integrated with Outlook. Speaking from experience, this feature is critical for such cases. SAP licenses, for example, should be abandoned 3 months before the end date of the license. SAP should be contacted or the new billing is renewed and an unprepared cost happens. With Loggle's notifications, you could be informed of the important dates of to abandon the licenses. As for Loggle surveys, we aim to listen to the end user. With surveys, Loggle asks the application owners questions about the technical fitness and business fitness of the applications. The admin can prepare a specific type of survey, such as open or closed-end questions. While developing Loggle, we developed much on international regulations to be in accord with them. In ISO, GDPR, and ITIL standards, there are specific clauses regarding IT inventories. We read them all and developed Loggle accordingly. I would like to thank everyone for their participation. We believe Loggle will bring a great value to your companies and create a huge positive impact on your operations. We wish to have a long-lasting business with you.
Yeah, thank you very much, really. And I would also like to thank very much to our participants. Let me just remind you once again that this is just a single module of Loggle. Loggle is a comprehensive tool with 4 different integrated modules. Apart from our APM module, these modules are hardware asset management module, IT cost management, and integration management module. We will be sharing these with you in the upcoming weeks. Meanwhile, please don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Have a nice day to all.